Call the Executive and Finance Committee meeting to order. Mr. Sullivan, you do our invocation.
Thank you. Stand. Dear Heavenly Father, Creator of all things, we come to you this afternoon, Lord. We just thank you for this beautiful day you've given us. We thank you for this breath of life you've given us to gather here to the Lord and discuss the Cherokee people's business. Just thank you for all your many blessings. Just continue to provide us with guidance, Lord. Give us wisdom each and every day. Protect our young people, protect our elders, watch over our servants overseas, Lord. Just then continue to guide us and help us to make good decisions in this meeting. Just name, amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Tara Callan Watts. Honey. Bill England.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Julia Coates. Here. Bradley Cobb.
All right.
Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Jody Fishingham. Meredith Fraley. Janelle Fulbright. Here. Dawn Garvin. Chuck Hoskin Jr. China Gloria Jordan. Present. Curtis Snell. Chris Soap.
Here.
David Thornton. We do have a quorum.
Okay. Next, we'll have our reports and our financial treasurer's report. Ms. Ketcher.
Good afternoon.
Oh, excuse me. I'm
sorry.
I would entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Sorry about that. Next, Ms. Ketcher.
Good afternoon. You have our written report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer those.
Any questions for Ms. Ketcher? We'll get off early.
Got off easy. Thank you.
Okay. Next is Cherokee Nation Businesses. Sean Slayton for Mr. Stewart.
Kevin, who's writing your report?
Good afternoon, Council.
Good afternoon.
I'll be reporting financially on March. For the company, it was a great month. Net income about $11 million, and that was compared to a budget of 9.7. So we continue to see a trend across all the companies, improvement in economic conditions, and normally that will occur in a trend during the early spring and into early summer, and we'll continue to see that through April and May. A few of the highlights in regard to the projects. We did make a selection for both contractors for all 4 projects that we're going to be undertaking. The one at Ramona and Fort Gibson will be done by RM Construction, which is Ross Manhattan. The Tahlequah and Catoosa projects will be done by Flintco. On Tuesday, I believe, everybody got together with Taro, and they had a good meeting. Diane may have a few more comments later about that. Just getting everybody on the front end organized and trying to make sure everybody knew each other and knew what everybody's roles and responsibilities were and who to contact if there are questions. So we're off and running in the design phase of all those projects. We should be starting to come out of the ground in July and August on all 4 of those, and we anticipate having them completed by August and September of 2012. So a little over a year in terms of construction for all 4 projects. Our employment numbers for March were right at 60% Cherokee. I think they've submitted several reports to you, and that concludes my report, and I'll answer any questions that you might have.
Are there any questions for Sean? Mr. Buzzard.
Sean, RM Construction. Where are they out of, and are they Taro?
RM is Mike Ross, and he is Taro, and the M part of that is Manhattan Construction, and they're not. They formed a joint venture together, and they'll be doing Ramona and Fort Gibson.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Yes,
You have a
Councilor Jordan.
design for Tahlequah.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we designing it with a hotel?
We are designing that in a phased part, 3 phases actually. The first will be the casino and restaurant. The second phase is phased for a conference center, and third for a hotel. Both of those if we so choose. The only thing that's approved to build is just to move the existing casino over to the Y there. And so if we decide that we need a conference center and hotel, we'll have to go back to our board for approval of that.
And the others are designed just for casinos?
Just for casinos, except for Catoosa, the rebuild of Catoosa. And that'll have a 100-room hotel on the top of it, along with a mezzanine and a sky bridge out to that north parking lot to get our people out of, our customers and employees out of the traffic.
Thank you.
Cemeteries.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks very much, Sean.
Thank you.
Next is Career Services and Employment, Diane Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. This has been a really busy month for us. It's the eve of all of our summer activities and graduation at Job Corps, and we're trying to get all of these reports in because some of our Department of Labor programs end the end of June, and we were notified yesterday that the Department of Labor is escalating the closeouts for the Job Corps by 1 month, so we've got till next Tuesday to get everything in. Well, they told us after 3 o'clock yesterday, so they know we can do things. I just want to share with you, some of you all may recall that whenever the executive order came out, there was a 3-tier, was Cherokee, Indian, and then there was the major Cherokees. We had the meeting that Sean was referring to with Mike Ross, Manhattan, and Flintco last Tuesday. We had all of our Taro staff there, and this is a listing of all of the people who are actually going to be working in those projects, and I'll send this around for everybody to get a copy of. You all had asked who's going to be working and monitoring Ramona, Fort Gibson, and Tahlequah. Well, that's the listing. We've got a first person, and then we have a backup. We met with them last Tuesday. It was a good meeting. It lasted for probably about 2.5 hours, and we agreed that if we need to get back together, we will within a quarter. If you'll recall, back about 12 years ago, I think when some of the construction was going on for the first hotel up there at Catoosa, we were called up and said, you know, were you all there at the bids? And no, we weren't. And Sean said, we'll take care of that. Well, since then, for the last 12 years, I just want to share with you that we have been at the table on all these bids. There's been a few that's been missed, but we've been reporting on that in our reports that you get every month. And with that third
Excuse me, Diane, do you have any more of these? They never made it even this far.
Sorry, you should have.
Okay.
Yes, I do have, right here.
Okay. You might start them on
Callie,
this
you want
other
me to make
side.
a copy? I got them.
You got it?
Here we go. There you go. That third tier, which was the major Cherokee employers, that's the piece that's not really a Taro certification. With the executive order, it's not mandated by law. So we separated those two out, and we're actually doing registrations on those. If you're a business and you're a major Cherokee business and you're employing 50 to 75% Cherokees, you can come in and get registered, and that's through Larry Ketcher's office up at Southgate, and we're actually registering them. If you're certified through Taro and you have that many Cherokees in your possession and you want to register for that third tier, you can come in and do that as well. That was something that we talked about Tuesday, and some of the policies were not real clear because I think some of the Taro language was still in it. So this right here should take care of it. This is the, here you go. This is the major Cherokee employer registration, major Cherokee employer policy, and renewal policy. So this is the policy that was developed for Flintco and for Mike Ross. in Manhattan. We're also planning a job business fair for Mike Ross in Manhattan during the morning in the next 2 to 3 weeks at Catoosa. Then in the afternoon after lunch we'll do one for Flintco, and this is to assist them with the types of subs that they're going to need for all of their projects. Dana Espinal and Angela Drews were at our meeting, and the purpose for being there is that they've got several projects in the pipeline, and one of the things that's going to happen that was talked about at this meeting, and we will try to keep you all abreast of it, is that a lot of these projects are all starting simultaneously. And if you're say you're a drywaller and you happen to live just right outside of Catoosa or Ramona, and you're working and you get a bid over here to come down here and work at Fort Gibson or Tahlequah, and say that other project starts up north, some of those people are going to shift and go up there because of gas prices, and they're going to work in their back door as opposed to driving down here. So the timing on some of these projects is going to constitute some of those subs moving around, and we realized that, and so did Mike and Flintco when we had our meeting Tuesday, and Sean and Kevin brought that up. So what we're trying to do is to get a handle on when all these are going to start up, when the actual ending date is, so that when we have these job fairs, we're going to put information up there on a map to show them the timelines. So if you're going to come in and bid as a subcontractor, you may need to know that there's going to be another project that's going to start a month later over here that you may want to bid on with your contract or your subcontracts. So we're trying to get the information out there to them. And as we get that job fair set up, it would behoove all of you all to come and see how that's going to be set up. Because if you've got constituents out there that are wanting to work for some of these subcontractors, we'll be able to tell you when they're going to need electricians, when they're going to need plumbers, when they're going to need various types of occupations for some of these projects, especially if they're within your districts and in your back door. So with that, this piece that I just gave you is the piece that Larry Ketcher oversees. That's that third tier on the bid process. And this was sent out to everybody this morning because we did get it corrected. There were some corrections that had to be made on it. Vocational classes started 2 weeks ago in West Siloam Springs, and Rudy had gone to a show this weekend and is going to show them some new things that's going to come about as a result of some of the stuff that they're learning in their class. They're going to start the phase 2 and phase 3 within about 3 weeks, which is the wines and the fine spirits. And I sit in on the class one evening. Melanie Dodge has been up there every evening because she has to monitor the class, and then she's paying out the mileage for the people that we refer to the class. And then we're also want to thank Sean and Kevin for getting a double-wide trailer moved from Blue Ribbon Downs to West Siloam Springs. It's going to be located back where the Flintco trailer was, directly behind the casino. It'll have 3 offices, 2 meeting areas, and a waiting area, and we're hoping to be in it within the next 2 weeks. We're planning a ribbon cutting on June the 10th, which is on a Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This will allow people in that part of the county and those continuous counties around it to come over and get some services. We're hoping to get some of the other programs up there periodically through the month. We started work-based learning through the Job Corps. That's going good with Chef Garrett, and we hope to be able to start the day work training program up there after we get in the trailer. Our reason for needing a place to work is it's 45 minutes one way either to Jay or 45 minutes to Stillwell. Those are the 2 nearest locations. And because of the number of people that we're going to be supplying them through day work training and the vocational training, we felt it was necessary that we had a place to take the applications and get all the necessary documents, because part of it has to do with the gaming license. It's a 16-page application, and they have to have every T crossed and every I dotted in order for them to even be put on the premise. And it was causing people to have to go back and forth, and most of these people would give up and just get frustrated and say forget it. So hopefully this will help some of the staff in Stillwell and Jay. If you get calls that we are short-handed there, that's because they're going to be working that office, because that's where some of the jobs are going to be for the day work training program. met with Don Childers, who is head of security and surveillance for CNE, and we're working on developing security training for all of the area locations, and this will come out of some of that training that we're doing for the enterprises right now. Hope to be able to give you some more information about that next month. Work base, let's see, our Claremore office, the garage area at the Housing Authority building has been converted into testing and life skills classrooms, and it's also going to be our new offices out in that garage area, and we hope to have some heat out there before winter hits. But we will be having an open house for that when our buildings trade students get that finished, because they're the ones that's working on it. And this is allowing the staff to work with the day work training program over at the facility at Tulsa or Catoosa. And right now we've had somewhere between 20 to 30 people going through that office for day work training, and we've been able to help maybe around 10 or 11 get secure jobs, and we've been up and operating over there for about 4 weeks.
Excuse me, Councilor Sutton.
Yeah, do you see any future opportunities there in Joplin with some of the work that's going on in that area and some of the future work that you can tell that will need to happen in that area? Is there any, I know it's kind of quick to be thinking about that, but what's the feedback there? Is anybody talking about it? Or?
Well, there's a lot of people from here that have been going up there and helping out. We've had students up there helping out with Red Cross and Tamir Copeland, right. And then we've been taking...
Beyond the relief effort, I mean, there's always...
We know that there's going to be jobs, and that's a big concern, because if people know that those jobs are going to be up there, they're going to be looking at whether or not they can go up there and make more money if they stay up there through the week, as opposed to some of the construction projects we're going to have going on. But maybe some of them will stay here because of the gas prices, because it's in their back door. But those are some things that we've been thinking about, because we could lose some of our good workers.
Right, thank you.
Councilor Buster.
Donna, I've got a couple of questions about TARO, and I'm pretty sure in the TARO ordinance yet it says that if a contractor is involved or in a TARO organization, they must be involved in 51% of the day-to-day operations of a company. Is that the law? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's been there since the inception of TARO.
And then, how do we determine if they are involved in it? In a day-to-day operation? They
have to demonstrate that when they make their application, and if the committee does not feel like that they have demonstrated that, then they request a face-to-face meeting with them. They ask them pertinent questions about the day-to-day operations, and most of the times when they come in for the face-to-face, they will actually explain to them how they operate that business and the equipment, and they know enough about it that they can answer. If they defer all the questions to be answered by the non-Indian, 9 times out of 10, they don't know that much about the operations, and they don't have the equipment. It's just been given to them on a piece of paper for a short period of time.
And I guess the question I have is how does Flintco do that?
How does Flintco?
Yeah, how does Flintco manage the day-to-day operations? Who is the owner of Flintco? Is it Robin Ballinger?
Robin Flint Ballinger, and she has a board of directors.
And then she does...
Then she has people right under her, like vice presidents, executive vice presidents.
So you can have people running your operation. You don't have to...
Oh, yeah. What you do is you disclose all that when you submit your application.
But I thought the TARO ordinance said that you had to be involved in the day-to-day operation of the owner.
Well, you do. And they have come in and demonstrated that whenever they were certified.
So she's involved with the day-to-day operations of Flintco.
Her name appears on a lot of documents that comes through there.
That's not what the ordinance says. It says be involved in the day-to-day just because it's up there. And the reason I'm saying this is we have some TARO contractors that get TARO certified and get a job, and they've got a lot of non-Cherokees or non-Indians working for them. That's what I'm getting back to the point here. It's like a landscaper. I know of a landscaper that's got a TARO job, but then he winds up with a lot of non-Indians working for him. And that was my question. If it's in a TARO law that...
Yeah, Mr. Buzzard, it is in the law, but we also have provisions in there that if any given time your subs that you have working for you, you could have 4 or 5 projects going on, and working for the Cherokee Nation does not constitute the only job you have going on. But we require, because you got certified through us, that you will have Cherokee Indian workers on that job site. And if you don't, you will be fined, and they understand that, and they are given notice once that fine is enacted, and they've got so many days. If they come to us and say, can you help supply us with that labor pool, we'll do all that we can. But when we can't help them get that labor pool up there, then we can't actually come out and find them at that point in time. But that's one of the things that they stipulate when they come in to be certified, and when they come in and bid, that they're going to follow the law, and they realize that they can have that enacted upon them.
Well, my concern is if we got a law that says they have to be involved in the daily operations, and I can see some of these companies don't. You know, they're a front company, they set up there and they get Indian certification, get Terrell, and then they turn it over to a non-Indian to run the company, is how I'm seeing it.
Well, our own businesses are set up that way. The bigger the corporations, the less you see, but when you see those signatures on there, and when they come and answer the questions on how that's set up, then they are actively involved in it.
And that's what concerns me, you know. It takes small businesses to make this country grow, but then we have big businesses get all the contracts, and we're not, I don't feel like that we're giving these small businesses, operators, a chance to really build on their companies, because the larger companies get it and they turn it over to a non-Indian to run the company for them. The way I see it, the Terrell law says that they own the company, they have to be involved in the day-to-day operation. So anyway, when we get on these projects, I certainly want to look at the Indian employment and what we're doing, especially with these two contractors, Flintco and then R&M.
One of the other factors that you have to remember is how the bids are submitted and how they're written, and what the bonding capability is. If it's a far-reaching construction project, it's a major construction project that's going to run for a year or longer, you're going to have the bonding capability. And right now there are not very many Cherokee, not very many Indian-owned companies out there that have that bonding capability. So in some cases, there are a very limited amount of major contractors that we have out there.
Yeah, and well, my concern was that if it's in the Terrell law that they be involved with the day-to-day operations of the company, and I just feel like some of them aren't. So keep that in mind. I want to make sure we keep track of our Indian employment when the casino starts. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for Ms. Kelly?
I just want to remind everybody that we have Job Corps graduation on June 3rd, Friday, at 10 o'clock over at the Job Corps facility. And if you don't have any, I know Jody had her hand up. I just want to apologize for, I know that some of you all received a letter. I was told by that, and I realize it's election time, and I've been here for like 30-something years, and believe you me, I know about letters that come in. I'm glad I'm not a politician. But rest assured, I did respond to that. So I just want you to know that.
Okay. Councilor Fisher.
And I do apologize.
I was out of the room, Diane. When did you say the meeting was, when you do the timelines and meet with them? What day are y'all?
Timelines for meeting.
Well, it was my understanding that you're going to have a meeting in the morning and one in the afternoon with like Flintco.
Oh, okay. Flintco, we did a kind of like a construction fair with them back when they were working on the tower for the Hard Rock. And it was real successful in helping to pull people that came in off the street that wanted to go to work for some of these subcontractors. And that's what we're hoping to do, and we're going to do this with Mike Ross in Manhattan. We're going to schedule Mike Ross in Manhattan in the morning at the facility, break for lunch, and then we'll have Flintco in the afternoon. So it could very well be that somebody may stick around and put his name in the hat for this contractor as well to see where he's going to get the best deal and which one's going to be closer to his home.
And when will that be?
We're trying to get it set up for the next 2 to 3 weeks if we can get the facility. We just started working on this last Tuesday, and they've got to give us some dates as to when they're available, so it corresponds with them together, so that we're not up there on a different day, because we'll have to pay the space cost on it.
Okay, is the projects all going out at once going to affect?
They're going to be close. They're going to be close in number, but they're not going to go out the same timeline. When we met with them, they gave us kind of a tentative date as to when they thought they were going to start them, and they will solidify that as they start working with them. We're hoping that all of them don't start at the same time, because that's going to constitute us not having a lot of Cherokee contractors out there. And that's a fear that we have right now.
That was my concern right there. That's why I'm wondering about Cherokee Nation starting them, if they can't stagger them out or something, because it's going to stretch everybody thin.
Well, one of the problems that we have with the Cherokee Nation side of the fence with Angie and with Dana's projects. Some of them, not all of them, are driven by federal dollars and timelines, and they have to get those done within a prescribed amount of time because of the money that's available. Now, on the other side of the fence, that is not the case, and that was why we had Dana and Angie at that meeting to see if we could work together with them on this. So if we're using some of the same subs, that we would try to spread that out a little bit. So we are working on that.
Okay, could you keep us abreast or keep Taro involved in the Veterans Center? Because I had a problem with, we ask everybody to volunteer, and a lot of our people volunteer to do work for free. And then I'm having a problem swallowing, but we're hiring and going to pay non-Taro vendors to do some of the work. So all I'm asking you is if you would kind of stay on top of that.
I believe Cal wants to respond to that.
Angie Drews couldn't be here today, but she did give me some information on that. The project you're talking about was bid out, and I believe there were 3 responsive bids received. And one of those vendors was a Taro vendor, but they were far from being the low bid. So it was awarded to the non-Taro vendor. The non-Taro vendor is working with the Taro office as far as all the subs, so they will be hiring Taro subs if applicable. It was just a really wide gap in the pricing, nowhere near the low bid.
Is there any way you can rebid them?
Well, not at this point, because we went through the correct process, and we've already awarded the contract to the most responsive low bidder.
You can't reward after you go through the correct process? Because I know on several projects, I thought when bids come in too high, you can reject them all and rebid again.
But they weren't all too high. What I'm saying is there was one
The
vendor.
non-Taro wasn't too high.
Pardon me?
The non-Taro bid wasn't too high.
That is correct. It was within the cost estimate. And as I understand it, the contract has been awarded. All of the preference was applied, all of the documents were posted with Taro in one stop, just like we do with all of our projects. And, you know, it happens sometimes. We encourage our Taro vendors to be competitive, and in this situation, it was a non-Taro vendor who got the award. But they are aware, and they are going to work with the Taro office if subcontractors are needed.
Diane, will you stay on top of that for me, please? Because I kind of like to know about the sub-vendors and everything. Like I said, it's hard for me to swallow.
Okay. Councilor Jordan, you have something? Oh, I'm sorry. You were.
I'll yield to her for that.
Well, I was going to share with her question. The non-Indian contractor on that veterans project has been in contact with us to come in to get in on that 3rd tier certification on the policies that you see that we handed out. So they are working with us to try to mandate all of their workers to be Cherokee. So they are trying to help. That was one of the things that we talked to Angie about early on, so we're working on it.
Okay.
I'll yield to her for a second.
Councilor Jordan.
Well, maybe I've missed it on our Cherokee Nation homepage. What happened to our page where everyone could go to and see what was up for bid, and then they could see after the bid had been awarded what was awarded? Did we lose it in the...
Yeah, it is still there. It's CherokeeBids.org. I will have to check with the webmaster to see, you know, which particular link. The website was updated recently, and you know, as far as I know, everything's still there.
I can't find the link to any kind of bid. I've even tried to do searches on it, and then I've gotten people. I'm sorry. Is there a problem?
No, that was his chair.
Oh, okay. I thought, am I going to have to argue with Jack on my time, or what's going on here?
I will check into that and send you an email on where the link is.
There was a lot of our small business owners that were relying on that page to stay up to date on what they could possibly bid on. And I've had them call, and then I went to the site, and I thought, well, maybe I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, I know you can get to it directly if you type in CherokeeBids.org.
Maybe we could put that up at the
Yeah.
top so that everybody
Make it more
knows this
prominent.
is what you need to do, because they must be like me on computers. We're struggling. And so I did everything I could to try to find it, and then I just decided, well, it must not be here anymore.
It is there, but with the, moving things around, it is a little bit more
So
confusing.
CherokeeBid.org.
CherokeeBids.org.
Okay. And thank you for giving me some time. I'm sorry.
Okay, my other
Okay.
thing was on the bid page.
Yes.
I have been on that bid page, and I admit I haven't been on it the last couple of months because I fussed and fussed and fussed, and y'all said you was doing it, so I thought I'm gonna shut up for 3 or 4 months and see if they get it done. But the last time I was at that bid page, there was not any awards out there. Maybe 10% of the ones that was awarded had the winner out there. And I admit I ain't been to it in a couple of months. But why are we not posting the people who won the awards and the amounts like we are supposed to?
To my knowledge, we are. I haven't been out there in a
Would you
couple of
check on
months,
it?
but I will check and make sure.
For that, the
Because
businesses, all of it?
we made a concerted effort to ensure that those awards are being posted.
Okay, because I shut up about it for 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
And the last thing is, I was gonna address, Diane?
Yes.
I was gonna tell everybody, I have sat down and talked to Robin in person about the problem I had with hiring Cherokee vendors. I know Ty did, I know Meredith's met with her, Curtis has met with her, and she has been very responsive for us, sending people to her and asking her about companies or sending them up there to talk. Robin's been good about it.
Well, Robin is who we actually work with anytime we have a problem. And so, she's the head of the company, and she's very actively involved in it. I get emails from her, and we're up there in her office meeting with her.
Okay, I'll take
So
one
I
more
don't know.
question for Diane. Mr. Councilor Thornton.
Diane, in my area, I have a vendor that bid on trash contract, C&E, and he was the low bid. Well, he didn't get the contract, and they're going to put it out for bid, and I'd like to find out what's going on with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will be in Catoosa tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We're meeting on some bids, and I don't know if this is one of them, but I'll follow up with them while I'm up there tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Commerce, Anna Knight. And Anna isn't here. She was here earlier.
Anna's not feeling well. She sends her apologies. I will try to answer any questions that you guys have on these reports, and if I don't have the answer, I will get it.
Okay. Anna's report is on page 75. So, are there any questions?
You gonna take it easy on me?
You got off
All
easy.
right, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay, next is Cherokee Nation Foundation, Kimberly Gilliland. Oh,
Mr.
excuse me.
Chair,
Yes.
Tammy just informed me there was a question that was asked about the Cherokee Dots work. Tammy said that there is a, why don't you tell them?
You can go to our career services site and click on Tarot and scroll down to the bottom, and there's a procurement link that you can go to, and that will list the bids. I don't know about who it was awarded to, but I do know that you can look at the bids.
But it's got everything from the government and the business side on it.
And you go to Career Services site,
Yes.
and then
Tarot, scroll down to click on Tarot, and then there'll be a procurement link at the bottom.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Kimberly.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for letting me report out a month late. We've had a very busy quarter. One of the things we were tasked with this year was to restate our finances over the last 10. As you can see, included in your packet is our restatement from 2008, our completed audit from 2009. We will have completed our 2010 audit at the end of this month. We did launch our OSU endowment. We got a 2-to-1 match from the Pickens Legacy Fund. We will start issuing scholarships this fall. In order to adjust to OSU, we will be opening our scholarship applications September 1st from now on and closing January 31st. We are also in negotiations with the University of Oklahoma and NSU to set up similar endowments. These endowments will function similar to the Gates Millennium Fund and will be 4 to 5 year scholarships. We have recently closed our zero interest pilot program. We've been very successful with that. We're out of funds for this year, but we have repayment, and the repayment funds will be used to continue the program. We've been asked to investigate doing 3 to 4% interest loans on a larger scale, or 1 point less than federal issued loans. We were working on a business plan, and we should have a report next quarter for that. We have closed our scholarship applications on April 15th. Award announcements went on May 15th, and we will be hosting our annual picnic on June 17th to award the scholarships. One of the projects we did complete over the last quarter was the Cherokee Lullaby CD. We had a private donor give us funds to publish and distribute 2,000 copies. They did go to Hastings, Tahlequah, Claremore, as well as the Emergence School and Indian Child Welfare.
Are there any questions for Kimberly? Yes.
I have questions, but she and I are working on those questions, so
yes.
I'm deferring those, and we're going to meet on what I have.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Appreciate it, Kimberly. Okay. Next are our consent items, and first are tarot certifications. Those are in your packet under consent items. First item. I'd entertain a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
One comment, are we talking about?
The tarot, yes.
Whoever, I bet this probably Shelley could help us with, or maybe does this report come this way and then you just put it in the book? So maybe I need to direct this to Miss Kelly.
Okay.
Will you ask them to put this further over on the page so that when she puts it in our book, we've got it far enough over that we can.
Right here is the one who puts that together.
Very good. So you'll take, I know you can take care of this.
Sure.
If you could move this further over, what's happening in our book is we're not able to read who's on the list without, I'm having to tear it out and then it gets disconnected from my book. And if you could do that, Tammy, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next are the cemetery restoration assistance applications, and all of those were passed out. An updated list was passed out. I would entertain a motion for their approval.
I move for approval with one change. The second from the bottom of Elm Grove Cemetery, Don Stout, should be District 4, Muskogee County.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded, and we have on page 2 of 3, the second item up should be Muskogee County. We also have a question on the last item, the McEver Family Cemetery, is that Sequoyah County? And the Redland, is that Sequoyah?
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
Redland is Sequoyah.
Redland is Sequoyah also.
So Jack, this ain't Elm Grove Cemetery in Adair, this is Elm Grove and, we got Elm Grove Cemetery.
No, I think that's the Elm Grove in Adair there.
Well, he said it was Muskogee.
Oh, we did. I'm sorry. Is there one there too?
Well, here's that Elm Grove.
Okay.
There's two of them.
There's 2 Elm Groves on this list.
Okay.
Okay.
We may need to check with Gail to be sure.
Or you just go by the cemetery name or by the person?
There's an Elm Grove Cemetery on up the page there in Adair County.
One from Harley.
Gerald Buckner.
Is this the Muskogee?
Yes, that one's yours.
Okay.
No, it's yours.
Y'all got Elm Grove out here
It's
too?
on up the list. We've already approved.
Okay.
So that correction is needed.
The next one, the bottom is Muskogee for the Elm Grove Cemetery. And top of the last page, Redland Cemetery is Muskogee. I mean, it's Sequoyah, excuse me. And the McEver, the bottom of page 2, you might want to check on that and see.
I think that's Sequoyah. I think it is indicated.
What's that?
McEver?
McKeever, yeah.
McKeever?
McEver, so that's also Sequoyah.
Yeah.
The last two items on page 2 are Sequoyah. Excuse me. The last item on page 2 is Sequoyah, and the first item on page 3 is Sequoyah. And next to the last, Elm Grove is Muskogee.
Okay.
Okay, is everyone clear?
With those corrections, I move for approval.
Okay, the motion's already been made and seconded, of course.
Okay, I didn't know.
But you will accept those
Yes.
as per the amendments, okay? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And then there was a second set of community assistance that was passed out.
I have one addition to that second list, Mr. Chairman. That second list goes down through town of Braggs in red. There will be one additional item below that, Sportsman Acres, 4,000.
No, wait, you're on the law enforcement. And we're on community assistance.
I'm on the wrong page, sorry. Okay, I do have one addition to below Bartlesville Youth. Am I on the right page?
Yes.
Okay, you guys have all the one that goes to Bartlesville. Okay, I have one additional one below that's the Bonita After Prom Committee, 150. Mr. Hoskin. That's the only addition to
There's one addition.
And I have one correction.
Okay, and you have?
My correction is on one that we passed last month. It was Tahlequah High School. It read for the backpack program, but it should read for conferences / camps / equipment for the VOTEC programs. The VOTechnical programs. And that is a correction from last month.
Just in the description?
Yes, just in the description.
Conference?
Conference / camp / equipment for the VOTechnical programs.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Councilor Cox.
I would like to ask that the balance of my remaining monies be given to Cherokee Nation Foundation for scholarship support.
As well as the balance of mine for the same.
Is it CNEC?
No, yeah, right, CNF now, they call it.
CNF now.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. The Kimberly just reported on.
Okay.
And so that's also my balance.
Make a
Councilor
motion
Bowman.
for
Okay, with those corrections.
with those corrections.
Okay. Is there further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Okay, next is our law enforcement. With the town of Braggs being the last one on here.
Maybe last but the best.
With Sportsman Acres below it as another addition.
So you're adding Sportsman Acres?
4,000. Two
from?
Two each from Mr. Soap, Ms. Fraley.
Okay.
Make a motion to be approved with that addition.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. Next are the roads.
The packet didn't have any road projects in it, but you received an amended report that has 5 projects in it. City of J Street project, Mr. Buzzard has taken out 606 out of his motor fuel and special bridge funding for 394 to complete those. And then Colcord Main Street project, Stick Springs Road project, Mr. Buzzard, also 18,448 each. Now the South Country Club Road project, Mr. Garden sponsoring a motor vehicle for Major Minor Road of 110,906. And there's one additional one on here for City of Bartlesville project for Mr. Cobb. And on this should read 108,895. I'll correct it before we file it, and that will.
Okay, any further discussion on the roads? Jody? We need a quorum.
Only for you, Jack, because you're so nice.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next is old business, which is a discussion regarding the Battle of Cabin Creek Land. And the question was Councilor Hoskin. Since he isn't here, there's no objection. I will table that until next month. Hearing no objections, we will table that till next month when Councilor Hoskin is here. Next, under new business, is we need. No, we have a quorum as long as you don't leave.
I've got my son on the phone and he's needing something. Yes, sir.
Okay.
We just can't take any motions.
But we
We can press and discuss, we just can't.
Okay, go ahead, Doug. We'll let you, but we can't have a motion to approve or
Just can't take any action yet. Okay. May grants, we had a net effect of some significant carryover adjustments. We had $356,000 decrease on 3 Sequoia High School budgets, and the LIHEAP, Elder Care, and Lifeways programs all incurred an increase in carryover estimates of more than offset that of $378,000. Department of Ed and Department of Labor had a couple of programs with some carryover adjustments. Totaled $81,000 to the positive. The MOD has 25 budgets in it this month with a net increase of almost $25 million. The general fund was a mere reallocation between some programs where the contingency reserve is reducing in its reserve to fund an increase in the tribal burial program. And you can see that $18,000 is coming in item 3. And the cash match for grants is also a reallocation of $25,000 to fund a matching requirement for the new HUD-funded Creativity Center. Indirect cost pool has a $64,000 decrease in the Career Services Group. The Enterprise Fund is transferring $998,000 with only $11,000 actual expenditure increase. That's related to commercial micro enterprise loan fund, creating a new commercial loan fund by combining the previously titled micro enterprise loan with the Economic Development E-Fund and the CDFI loan fund. The net effect after the combination reflects the majority of this budget increase, or the net effect after the combination reflects this. The budget increase is merely authorizing $997,000 of fund balance transfers to accomplish that consolidation. The actual $11,000 increase is a bad debt expense increase. IHS Self-Governance Fund is where the majority of this mod is actually increased. Yes.
Could you explain this next bit quite a bit? Because in budget hearings, I kept asking about carryovers and what could be used for compact dollars and what can't, and whether they had enough money and whether it could be used for Lycoma or not. So walk over this next little bit slowly, please.
Okay.
Explain it to me.
As you can see by the item numbering here, the first group that we're looking at was actually down below the second group in its submission. I brought them up above because I wanted to point them out first. The significant increase in the budget, it's bringing forward $24 million of prior year carryover that hasn't previously been budgeted yet. This increase will bring the total carryover to $43.8 million. The increase has largely been requested on capital related projects, and those are the first ones I wanted to identify was the capital related ones. The pharmacy refill center is actually a shift of funding. This $5.1 million is shifting the carryover what was previously budgeted in current year funds for the refill center. Those funds are now being freed up in this budget mod, okay, and is being requested to fund that $5.1 million out of carryover, this increase in carryover. So the current year funding on IHS, it freed up $5.1 million, and you can see down below is where those dollars are being allocated out in the service clinics and the various budgets for some of the departmental operations. Item 18, Hastings Facility Improvement is requesting nearly another $1 million for warehouse and the physical therapy building that's planned there. The Health Equipment Replacement Fund is reserving another $7.7 million for future equipment needs. Health M&I projects, I assume that's maintenance and improvement projects. Is that correct? Okay. It's $5 million, and wasn't able to determine by the documentation what that was for. The Health Clinic Debt Service is requesting $5 million, basically reserving out of this carryover our long-term debt obligations for principal and interest payments on our two indebtedness for Muskogee Clinic and the Bonita Clinic for next year. using this carryover to pay for next year's debt service, 2012. And then again, down below that, you'll see that, as I mentioned, the refill center was previously funded out of current year compact funds. That freed up $5 million is being replaced by these carryover dollars, and it's going out to those Sallisaw clinics, Jay, Salina, Muskogee, Hastings is the bulk of it, nearly half of it at $2.1 million. The optometry, quality improvement billing, and the chronic care pilot project for a nominal amount.
So basically, we've carried over a total of 44 million from last year to this year, our budget carryover, by the time we add this back in here.
There's, yes.
Total prior is about 44 million carryover.
There, yes, 43.8 million.
Okay.
There's a significant amount of that is capital related, project related carryover. My reports reflect around $19 million of it is capital related. However, $2 million of that is debt service. That it's a balance sheet transaction when you pay the principal of the debt, and you're not going to, even though we budget for the principal and interest payment, because we have to provide for those payments through a budget process, the actual expenditure booking, according to GAAP, only hit the principal side, only hits the long-term debt on the balance sheet, the liability. I don't want, it's getting technical accounting, but no, let me show you. That's why you don't have. That's where you don't have your debt service. Not that's transferred to the year. At the, well, yeah, that's how we operate at that level. Sorry about the sidebar. GASB 34 brought out two different financial statement reporting models, and one is a fund statement, and another one is a different type of a presentation of a financial statement. And we're going way technical here if we're not careful. I'm not sure my explanation, explaining GASB 34 is going to be beneficial to this, but in any event, a large portion of the 43.8 million carryover was identified in the previous fiscal year for one-time expenditures of capital projects, brick and mortar type stuff, or this debt service payment. And approximately 25 million of it was non-capital related. Operational carryover, either due to one of two things, either budgeted dollars that went unspent or revenues that were earned above and beyond the anticipated level and never was authorized to be spent in the first place.
Did you find out which one they were and come through?
It'd take a little further analysis to come to that conclusion, but I can, yes.
Okay. I appreciate it.
But the main point was part of it's capital, part of it's operations carryover.
Okay. Did you get that?
It's very important to understand the difference in those two.
Okay, Councilor Garvin.
Yes, since Doug has no issues with this, move for the approval.
Is there a second? Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're fine. Okay, motion carried. Okay, next, our announcements, our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June 30th. Okay, any other announcements? Not, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Can we adjourn at 8?
6, 7, 8, 9, there's 9. There's 9.
There's 9.
There's 9.
Meredith came in.
Okay, so gotcha.
No, I made sure of that. Okay.